Welcome, all you beautiful and wonderful people. Thank you so much for dropping in to the Fluffy Cow Studio. Today, here at the Fluffy Cow Studio, we are going to be painting a bison head for a pretty young girl. Not little girl, she's pretty grown up. But we're going to be painting her a bison head, and I hope you enjoy it, and I hope I can teach you something. Or if you just want to watch us paint, that's fine too. At first, when I did this, I do not like to draw on canvas, so I drew out the head and then I put, got some carbon paper, or not carbon paper, well, yeah, carbon paper, but we call it transfer paper, not, anyway, transfer charcoal paper, and I laid it down and I put the picture on top of it, and then I traced it out and put it on the canvas. And that is how I got it on the canvas, because I do not like drawing because I make a lot of mistakes. And so if I do it on the canvas, it messes the canvas up. Now we are going to start today by outlining this skull. And as what I am doing is I'm taking a liner brush. I'm using Marsh Black, and I'm mixing up Marsh Black with the acrylic heavy bond paint, and I added water to the point where it was at the liquid of about ink. And then I took and rolled um, my brush in it until I had a point, a really nice sharp point, and I then began outlining as you see me doing right now. And I'm just outlining. This is such a big picture that it kinda is hard for me to get it all in, so that is why I'm explaining what I'm doing with the paint and the paintbrush, because you didn't see that part. And if you're trying to outline or write or do anything with a liner brush, it's important that you know that detail. We want to get the ink to we want to get the paint to the consistency of ink, and we want to twist our brush and in that paint until we get a very fine point. And I'm just going around the skull's head, and I'm not going to outline the leaves yet. I'm going to wait till later to do that, if I do them at all. But right now I'm just outlining his skull. And then I will fill in the hollow or the cavities that are in there with the black as well. And I've sped this up really fast. It didn't go this fast, believe me, it took quite a while. But I've sped it up fast because I'm lining, and there's really no technique except for the technique I just told you about: the brush, the ink, the consistency of ink. And so I'm just outlining, and there's no really big technical or technique things to really know about that. I'm just outlining and filling in those cavities that are hollow. And when I paint, I do several different layers because, just for um, the texture, for the blending, the colors, the schemes and things. So we go over these things quite a few times. So by the time you get done, your canvas has a kind of thick layer of paint on it. Not that you notice it or not that you'll even see it, but it does indeed have a pretty. Now these are just crevices and different things, or little cracks in the skull. that I'm doing. Right now I am using a burnt umber, and it's a brown paint. It's a dark, dark brown. And then I am going to go over it with the Marsh Black. And I'm just kind of mixing those two colors together right there on the canvas, just letting them blend in. I want it to be dark. I wanted it to have a little bit of the brown in with it. And so I'm just letting that, filling it in. No fancy techniques here, just filling it in, just painting it in. If it doesn't flow evenly for you, add just a little bit of water. And now I am using a small, I want to say filbert, a straight edge brush, just a small one. It's probably not even a half inch. Maybe it's a half inch. Just something to work with to fill that in, to blend it a little bit. I'm not really good with sizes and brushes and the names and things. I just use whatever I feel I need, but I will learn them so I can show you. Right now, on those little dot thingies or circle thingies we put in there, I do not know what they are, but I painted them with burnt burned umber, and I am just kind of highlighting in places with that burned umber, because the burned umber is just, it's not as dark as the black, but here I'm adding a little white to those. I'm adding a little white to that burnt umber and just highlighting and doing things, but we'll go over this even more times, so this isn't the set in stone final thing, final painting. And right here I just mixed a little bit of the burnt umber and the marsh black, because, and this side's going to be lighter because this is the way the sun is shining. We're going to have the sun coming from the right, so being it on the right side, it's going to be smaller, or going to be brighter than the other side, a little lighter, and we'll highlight that and do it. But right now we're just getting the color in there, still using that same about a half inch um, straight edge brush. Okay, here I am adding a little water, or a little water, a little white. I am sorry about that, a little white. And it's a little too much white, but I blend it in. And there you can kind of see it picking up the burnt umber. However, you're not going to see a lot of this right yet because it is still wet and it will um, look dark. And as we keep going over with different things, you'll, and shadows and shades, you'll see the difference. I'm just going around those, I don't know what they are, but it's where they attach to the horns, attached to the skull. And right now I'm just kind of making it look like they stand out. I'm taking white and going along the very edge, and then I'm taking black, marsh black, and just doing a really dark edge behind the white, so it looks like there's just a little bit of a shadow, so it looks like it's poking out a little bit more. And you can see there a little bit better that I'm going over it with white, with just a white line, with my white liner brush, with my liner brush, and I'm just using titanium white. I think I'm talking in circles. I think I have a talking problem, I'm tongue-tied today. Okay, now I am using a Naples Yellow. I think that's what it is, Naples Yellow. Yeah, and it's just very light yellow, very light. Um, and I'm just going over this. I don't know why I'm so worried about the edge of that horn there, because we'll be doing that many times, but I am just going over, and I'm trying to put a little bit, I think I better watch because I'm not sure. I think I put the Naples yellow all the way around the head, and then I add the white and the highlights and stuff. But I'm just right now just putting that, or taking a brush, and this is just a little bit bigger brush, maybe a 3/4 inch brush, a straight edge brush, and I'm just filling in the skull. And I'm painting over my black lines. It doesn't matter. We'll work with them and make them and do what we're going to do with them later. But right now I'm just brushing over them. Right now I think I'm putting the white on the one side, trying to make it just a little bit lighter. That's titanium white, and I'm just using a straight edge, about 3/4 inch brush. Might not even be that big. Just whatever you feel comfortable using, because you got a pretty wide space. You want it something that is blendable, but you also want something that's big enough to blend it and something that will paint a big space. Now I'm using some of that burnt umber, and I'm just outlining it, and I'm touching up different places. I'm just keeping it I'm just keeping it going. I'm just kind of blending that in. It won't look as dark as on here as what it is, but I just keep blending it, taking that white and blending it. And I'm just going to keep on doing what I'm doing. Just keep adding some white to the right side. This is just basic highlights, basic shadows, so there's not a real lot of technique to this, just adding the color right now. Okay, still just highlighting the right side. Okay, I'm doing right here, I'm putting a little bit of the burnt umber on the, and I'm trying to make it look like there is a shadow there. And I'm going over them with white, and I can't really tell right here, but yeah, I'm using a combination of the sienna, or the burnt umber, I'm sorry, burnt umber, doing a little bit of that, and then I'm just kind of fading the color down underneath the eyebrow so it looks like it's over. Is what I'm trying to do, is make sure that eye is, it looks like it's hanging over the eye socket. And right here along these edges I'm doing the same. I'm taking a little bit of the burnt umber, and I'm just taking another brush to blend it in so that it looks like one bone is over the top of another. And I'm just kind of taking around I want to call it the cheekbone. I don't know what it really is, but, and then I take some white too and just kind of go around the edges and to blend it in, you know. I want it to look natural. I don't want it to look like I just put a bunch of paint there and it didn't. Right here you can't see too well, but I'm just taking the white and going down along the bottom. And now right now I kind of got an up closer picture so I can show you that okay, I'm still just, you can't see it right now, but I'm just taking white and going along the right edge, not doing anything tricky or technical or anything. After watching this, I thought there might be one thing I can do to make this so it all fits in the screen for the next times. Okay, now right now I'm taking some black and I'm going over. I'm kind of trying to make it look like I'm making sure there's a really dark line going around the edge of that nostril, and I'm putting a really bright white, the Titan white, trying to get it as bright as I can to go on the edge of that black, so it really looks like that bone is on top and that nostril is a cavity. Okay, right here I am taking the burnt umber and I'm doing the same thing I did with the other ones. Okay, here I'm doing it again, taking a little more burnt umber, and I'm going around that the eyebrow and some other places where we now I'm doing white to go do highlights. And I want, right now I'm just kind of getting the basics in there. So sometimes the brush I will do in the direction I want it to look like the bone is going, but it's not really technical or really important at this time. It's just we're trying to get the color down to get where our bones are, you know, if one's under the other. Okay, now I'm taking a little bit of violet and I'm going to go over those little marks that we made, those little lines we made, and then I am going to take my brush and I'm going to blend it, and I really kind of want to blend it. Now this violet is a really warm, it's kind of a warm tint, and so I'm doing the violet on this side and I'm just taking some of that violet and I'm blending it in. I'm using white to blend it in with. I think I'm doing some white because I really want that white edge on that eye. And then on, and it's pretty bright right now. You might not be able to see it right now, but it is pretty bright. Right here I'm doing the, again, the violet, just going over that edge, and I'm blending it in with, I'm just blending it in with the small, that small straight edge brush. And I just go over it, I go under it with the white and I go over the top of that with the white, so it kind of looks like that's cracked. It's, and we got a little divot or ridge or something in the skull. So I'm just blending that all out now. Okay, I am taking some more violet. And I'm just going over that crack. Let's just call it a crack. And now I'm taking some white and I'm just going under. I'm trying to make that line white and bright. Okay, I'm using a little bit of that violet again, and I'm just blending it in there with the white. And I'm just going to keep doing that till I get the color I want and to get the depth and And a lot of times, like, I will be doing this and then I will stop and let it dry and work on another area just to give it a chance to dry while I do another edge. Now you can't see it, but I'm just going down with the white again. That I'm just going white over this, the titanium white over the cheekbone, let's say. And down around the nostril. I'm just highlighting, putting some white there. Okay, I'm going around the eye again, the eye socket. I really want the white to pop out. Now I'm doing then I am taking some burned umber, and I'm going around. There's part of the eye socket where it looks like, you know, it's shaded, and then it goes to the place where the eye was, you know, the socket or whatever. And so I'm just doing a little burnt umber around that eye socket, that shaded part of it, and I'm just blending that in because I don't want it to be too terribly dark. And I'm just taking the burnt sienna again, or burnt umber, and just blending it in. And now I'm just adding white, a little bit of violet, and blending that in, a little bit more violet and blending that in. And then I'm going to take some white and go over the top of each one of those cracks and down underneath each one and around the eye of that eyebrow. That eyebrow is really starting to stick out and be definite now. Okay, I'm going to take some white along the edge of that crack. Now I'm going to do white along the top. And mostly on the right side. I will bring some of it over to the left side, but I'm really mostly working on the right. Okay, right here I'm just making a little, I take the black and, or maybe it's not black, I took a lavender and just working on that with it, or blending it in. I'm just going over the horns a little bit right now. I don't know what these things are called, the horns are on, that hold the horns to the head, but that's what we're working on now. And I'm just using burnt umber and some white and black. I'm redoing that line there because I realized that when I looked at the picture again that these had 2 rows of the little dots rather than just the one. Right now I am just using some white and I'm blending that in. The paint's dry now, so it doesn't blend in and go completely away. I'm just blending in now some more white, put a little black there to kind of help it, going on the edge of the top of that horn because the sun's shining that way, and it's just hitting the top of that horn where it curls up. I'm just blending that white in and along the top because the sun is just hitting the top part of that horn. It's not hitting all the way down because the other horn is kind of shading it, and I'm having issues with the frame there. So now I'm taking on this side, I'm doing the white, and I'm going down the side of the horn, the right side of the horn, and I'm doing I'm going further down. I'm gonna start light and go darker all the way down towards the head, and I'll eventually blend that in so you won't see too much of that white or gray. It's gray, it looks gray because I got the white on it. And now I'm kind of shading the left side of that horn, the pointed part, and along the top of that horn, because the sun is shining and we're shading, it's shading that horn. I'm doing, right here I'm making 2 rows of those little circle things. I don't know what they are, because I wanted it to look more like the picture did, or the picture that I drew this from. So I'm using burnt umber to just draw in those little circles, and then we'll highlight them in a minute here. Okay, we are going to end this video for today. Thank you so much for dropping in. Hope you join our next video where we'll do a little bit more work on this guy. I hope you will come back. I hope you learned something. Please leave a comment down below, and I want you to know how much I appreciate you for dropping in and coming in to see us today. If you are new here, welcome. If you've come here before, thank you for keep coming back. I so enjoy having you, and it really helps my channel to have you here too. Thank you so much. You guys are wonderful. You're beautiful, and if no one has told you today, you are worth every minute. Thank you very much. See you next time. Bye-bye.